Hello and welcome to the I Hit Drums YouTube channel. Today we're going to be looking at note values and specifically quarter notes, eighth notes and 16th notes. Starting with quarter notes, these are also known as crotchets, but within drumming they're often referred to as quarter notes. Now we've talked in the past about bars within music, and a standard bar of music can fit 4 quarter notes within it and is often referred to as being in 4/4 time. 4/4 actually means 4 quarter notes per bar. And that's why in a lot of music and a lot of recordings, we can often count this music as 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the pulse of quarter notes. So today I've got my sticks and we're going to play some quarter notes. You can think of these as the slower of those 3 note values. So I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, I'll count us in, and then I'll play 4 quarter notes on the pad. And that's going to be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so nice and easy. Now moving on to eighth notes. What we're actually going to be doing here is adding an extra note or an extra hit in the spaces between 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this means we also need to count slightly differently. Those spaces in between the numbers, when we're counting an eighth notes, we would count as an and. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now it's very important that the position of those numbers doesn't change. Those numbers stay in the same place all the time. So when we add those extra hits, we're not extending how long we're playing for, we're adding more hits into the same space. So I'll count us in again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to play through 2 bars of eighth notes. See if you can join in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'll do that one again, but this time I'll actually count those eighth notes as well. You ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's eighth notes. You're essentially doubling the amount of hits because you're adding hits into the spaces that we had previously between 1, 2, 3, 4. You can also think of these eighth notes as like the medium speed of these 3 note values that we're going to look at. Now moving on to 16th notes, and you can think of these as the fastest of those 3 note values. We're again going to be adding extra notes into the spaces between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we're not actually adding more time, we're not playing for longer by adding these extra notes, we're squeezing more notes into the same space. So in terms of counting, for the quarter notes we just had 1, 2, 3, 4. For the eighth notes we had 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and for the 16th notes we're going to have 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. So that's 1 E and a. And then for the next group of 4 hits, you change the number at the start to 2, 2 E and a, and then 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Here we go, 16th notes. So these are quite fast, and for this reason it's important that you don't go too quickly when you count yourself in. So this time around, I'll actually count a full bar of 16th notes, 1 E and a, and then we'll try 2 bars of that. And then for the second time round, I'll just count 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll see if we can put those 16th notes into that space. You ready? So 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. And now I'll just count 1, 2, 3, 4, but we want to try and keep the same amount of hits as we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just to go over those 3 again. The slowest ones, quarter notes. Let's do 1 bar of quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now a bar of eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now a bar of 16th notes. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. So those are the three note values that you're most likely to come across when you first start drumming. Quarter notes, eighth notes, 16th notes. And you can kind of think of those as slow, medium, fast. Now I would recommend that you try this with a metronome for the reason that a metronome click, if you don't have a metronome, you can just go on Google, type in metronome, or you can get a free app, up to you. But with the metronome click, the click is actually clicking the quarter note. So it's going click, 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 click. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And if it's the eighth notes, it's still going to be clicking at the same speed. But now you're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then for 16th notes, it's still going to be clicking at the same speed. But this time, you're going to be thinking 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. So using the metronome can really help you keep solid time as you work through those different note values. What you definitely don't want to end up doing is going 1, 2, 3, 4, and then when you get to eighth notes, going 1 and 2 and so on, because you're not actually increasing the amount of hits there. You're just playing quarter notes for longer. So make sure that once you go to eighth notes, the 1 and 2 and, you're actually adding a strike in between those clicks. And then when you get to 16th notes, you're actually going to have 4 hits for every click. So it'll be 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. So those numbers always stay with the metronome clicks. Another way that you can think about this in terms of how much time you have is in the shape of a pizza. If you imagine a whole pizza, that represents like a whole bar of music. If you have 4 quarter notes in a bar, that's like taking that pizza and cutting it into 4 slices. If you then have eighth notes, that's like taking that same pizza and cutting it into 8 slices. You're not gaining more pizza, you're just getting smaller chunks of that same pizza. So pizza is like how much time you have. Just because you've got 8 slices of pizza doesn't mean you've got more pizza than when you had 4 slices, because they're smaller slices. Likewise for 16th notes, that's a bit like taking a pizza and cutting it into 16 slices. Again, it's the same size pizza or the same amount of time. You're just getting smaller slices of pizza, or you're cramming more notes into that bar. You don't have a bigger pizza as a result. So sometimes that pizza analogy is helpful, sometimes it's not. Let me know what you think. Another analogy you could think of is like money. So quarter notes would be like having £4 coins. The total of that would be £4. Eighth notes would be like taking those pound coins and halving them, so essentially 50p. That would be like having 8 50p's. It still adds up to £4. And then 16th notes would be like having 16 25p's. It still adds up to £4. You're not getting more money. So yeah, the analogies can sometimes help people, sometimes not. But try out those different note values. If you want to go a bit deeper on the note value side of things, which you absolutely should, if you want to progress in drumming, then I'd recommend my book, of course, A Beginner's Guide, which you can find on my website, www.ihitdrums.co.uk. If you're a total beginner to drumming, you can also subscribe on my website and get a free groove starter pack, and that'll give you some grooves to get you going and get you started on the drums. That's all for this episode. Until next time, enjoy.